They're the most iconic duo in baseball, whether dancing on a dugout, smooching on the kiss cam, or greeting fans at the ballpark. You likely won't catch Mr. or Mrs. Met without the other. But for the first decade baseball was played at Shea Stadium, Mr. Met walked around solo. Lady Met, as she was then known, was only two-dimensional.
Shea Stadium would welcome a host of new faces in '75. Outfielder Del Unser, Joe Torre.
But of all the new faces that season, one stands out among the rest.
I was nervous, to walk out there because there was a lot of fans, and you walked through the stadium and they were running up to you and they wanted your autograph.
Opening day 1975, Mrs. Met made her major league debut wearing an orange dress, blue cape, and a baseball head,
which was made of plaster Paris. Felt like it was 100 pounds.
The woman underneath the plaster, Lynn Farrell.
The eyes were out of the cheeks, and they were metal grates, so I really couldn't see. I'd have to turn like this, and if I had to look down, I'd have to hold this big, huge head.
Farrell was a junior in high school when her father, a sports photographer for the New York Daily News, learned about the job.
He came home and said, "How would you like to work at Shea Stadium?"
Not only did he hook her up, but her boyfriend too.
Bring him along. Well, he could be Mr. Met.
For $100 a game, they stood with the players for the national anthem, then signed autographs in the 5th and 7th innings.
The old men wanted to marry me. They'd run over to me. "Oh, would you marry me, Mrs. Met?"
The only rule was no speaking, but a few games in, Farrell set some of her own rules.
I learned not to go into the stands because I had a dress on, I couldn't see, and the guys would grab my legs. Then I learned to just stand by the railing, by where the guard was, and just let everybody come to me. I realized real quick why they changed Mrs. Met's outfit into pants now.
It didn't hit her then that she was, and still is, one of the only female mascots in sports. What stood out more, she says, was just being a girl in a ballpark.
Being able to go on the field with the players, walking anywhere I want to walk. And that was like a really cool feeling of like, I own this place.
She played the part all 81 home games for 2 seasons. Why did you not go back for a 3rd season?
Got married.
To her high school boyfriend. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Met got married. They were married 25 years. They moved on from their mascot days, and eventually the team did too. Both were phased out in the 80s. Mr. Met returned in '94, but it wasn't until 2013 that Mrs. Met came back, looking like the Mrs. Met we know today.
With her brown ponytail and her pants on, dressed like an athlete.
Nowadays, Farrell is a bartender and still a huge Mets fan, though she is yet to bump into her new, made-over self. But maybe this season.
I should go up to her, tell her I like her pants.
Stef, Manisero, New York 1.